I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K. I know you heard me on the radio. Flexing, she loved the sound of my voice, it's the best thing. Daydreaming of the jazz all day. Pick up the phone late night with Larry K.
Fury fam, welcome to another edition of Phin-Addict Fury with your host, Larry K. Happy to have you guys here for another video. I was going to do a more wide-reaching, groundbreaking, substantive video. I was going to play the viral video that Tory Day made that just went all over the place. I was going to go through all kinds of other stuff, but instead of doing that, what I'm going to do today is just run through some quick news. I'm going to address all your comments when I asked the other day on a post for topic ideas for the next video, and I got a bunch of different topics, so I'm just going to answer each one of those questions, and then I'm going to move on to next week because we have big news for Phin-Addict Fury. Starting next week, starting next Wednesday, Phin-Addict Fury will be going live once a week. Wednesdays at 8 p.m. for 1 hour, we will have a live show, and that live show will be hosted and produced by TD Fins Talk. So over on TD's channel at 8 o'clock Wednesday nights, you can chat with me live, and we can talk live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. starting next week. So I am going to kind of get ready and gear up for the live show next week. And that doesn't mean that we're going to stop doing shows here. We are going to continue to put out content here. We are going to continue to put out videos here. We are going to continue to have analysis here. We are going to continue to do live shows here. We're going to continue to talk here. This is still the centralized location for Phin-Addict Fury, but Phin-Addict Fury had a great opportunity because TD is a visionary. He's a Doll fan visionary, and it's a really privilege and honor to have the opportunity to host a live show on a channel such as his, and it will be produced by TD. It'll just be my show. TD will come on here and there. Other guests will come on here and there. It'll be my show, but it'll be hosted and produced and aired on TD Fins Talk weekly. So I want to gear up and really start that off really well, and I think it'll do wonders for our channel. I think I can add something to TD's content and channel, and I think overall it's just a good thing going forward. So I'm excited about that opportunity. I hope all of my Fury fan members out there are excited about that opportunity, and I hope you're ready for it. So just some news. Look, the same rumors are flying around Dolphins land in the NFL. Latest NFL news was Ben Roethlisberger officially announced his retirement today. So Ben Roethlisberger is officially done after 18 seasons. He had a very nice career. He has the Super Bowl ring. So he has done well for himself. And this was expected. This isn't a surprise by any stretch. This is one of several dominoes, I think, as far as quarterbacks that we expect to see fall this offseason. This was one of them, and most people saw this coming. I have long said, and it could be a long shot. There's no inside info. I haven't read this anywhere. It's just my little hunch. I have long said that I could see, depending on how his legal situation goes, I could see now that Miami, and I know Danny Kanell came out this week and tried to reinvigorate and respark this rumor about Deshaun Watson to Miami. Look, I've been wrong before. I might be wrong again. I could be wrong. But I don't see that as actually viable. I think he's just kind of looking at situations and thinks Miami's still viable. I think by reigniting clicks, and reigniting the conversation, he could just, get some conversation and dialogue going again about the Watson thing. I'm not somebody who believes that Watson's headed to Miami. I think that ship has sailed. I think the whole Flores thing kind of bore that out. We'll see. But the reason I say that is I could see Deshaun Watson going to Pittsburgh. Think about it. Pittsburgh's got a strong tradition. They've got a winning tradition. They have strong ownership. They have a small, a big fan base nationally, but a smaller market. and a solid head coach and organization that could kind of help to maybe keep Deshaun on the right path. So if his legal situation does clear up, if it doesn't, who knows what's going to happen. But if it does clear up, I'm somebody who, quote me early, if it happens, I could see him going to Pittsburgh. I could see Deshaun going to Pittsburgh. I think it might be somewhere he might go. But we'll see. We'll see how all the quarterback carousel, pans out and whatnot. The Dolphins have signed a wide receiver from Canada, Devontae Dedmon, to a futures contract. It's a body for camp, but he did very well in Canada. I think it's a good signing, even though we don't have a head coach. The GM, Chris Grier, is just making moves for the future head coach, providing him with certain weapons and tools. We need a kick returner badly. Once Grant went, and look, I was all for trading Grant. I think he had too many drops. I think it was time to just move on. But when we lost him, we lost a dedicated kick returner. And like I said in a previous video, our special teams took a big step back last season. That's part of the reason we struggled, I think. So in addition to getting a punter and getting Sanders back on track with his place kicking, I think it is a good move to bring in some candidates to be full-time return men. As you saw with Kansas City and other teams, a good returner can change the dynamic of a game. It can change field position just like a punter can. It's a big, big, big part of the game. So the Packers special teams struggle and how that costed them. Special teams is a huge part of the game, and so bringing in a returner is a good move. So I'm happy about that. On to the coaching front, we've heard, when we first fired Flo, I initially right away said that the Miami Dolphins were going to probably target a quarterback guru, an offensive guru, and right after that, the first person they requested to interview was Brian Daboll. Now, just a little on me. I mean, last year when Gase was fired from the New York Jets, I had some Jets friends, and they were already saying, we got to hire Daboll. And I was laughing at them because I'm like, you're going to hire Daboll? Why? Because Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs are generational talents, and now you're going to attribute their success to Daboll's coaching? Meanwhile, Daboll hasn't coached another supreme talent in his extensive career. So I thought they were funny for wanting him, but Miami right away wanted him because that's Ross's MO, that's Grier's MO. They just want the quarterback guru. They think he's going to coach Tua into several inches of height and a better arm, maybe. I don't know. But I'll say this about Daboll before we talk about the latest news. I'm not going to prejudge him as a head coach. He's somebody who's been around football for a very long time. He's been an okay offensive coordinator. He's not that popular in Buffalo. I hate to tell people. Buffalo people aren't thrilled about him. If he left, they wouldn't be that upset. So he's not been, I don't think he's been an exceptional offensive coordinator most of his career. This is an exception because Buffalo's got so much talent, such a good, personnel grouping in offense that he benefits from it. But that's not to say he can't be a good head coach, right? He's been around football for a very long time. He has a lot of experience in the league. He has a lot of viable connections to hire a good staff. He knows his way around, a locker room. He knows his way around an organization. So I'm not going to say Daboll would be a terrible hire. I don't think Miami's hiring him for the right reasons. I think this is similar to hiring Gase because they thought he could make Ryan Tannehill into Peyton Manning, maybe. And they think, Daboll is going to make Tua into Josh Allen. I think that's the wrong reason to hire somebody. But that doesn't mean that Daboll can't be successful. So we'll see what happens with him. There's just various rumors, and I don't know if they're being, proliferated by his agent, by the Giants, by the Dolphins, but it seems like that the two potential landing spots for Daboll at this juncture are the New York Giants or the Miami Dolphins, and there's conflicting reports. Some reports are he can't wait to work with Tua again. He wants to go to Miami. Other reports are he's down on Tua. He doesn't like his ceiling. He's going to go with the Giants. Truth is, we don't know, right? There's pros and cons to going to the Giants, and there's pros and cons to going to the Dolphins. And it's not just going to come down to quarterbacks. And remember, the Giants quarterback situation with Daniel Jones is not good either. Daniel Jones is another guy who's pretty much mediocre. There's a ceiling. And I'd say Daniel Jones' ceiling is much lower than Tua's. At least Tua's a little younger and had a little bit more of a encouraging college career and whatnot than Daniel Jones. So I don't know that it's going to come down to quarterback per se, but it's obviously going to be a factor. But also, money, contracts. Where do you want to live? Where does your family want to live? What's a stronger organization? Where do you feel more comfortable? Which GM do you want to work with? He's going to make a decision here. And I think it is going to come down to the Giants or the Dolphins, but we'll see. That's just based on the reporting that we have right now. So we'll see how that turns out. But there's conflicting rumors as to, where Daboll's going to go. I think he is Miami's top choice. I always thought it was. Again, for the wrong reasons, but it doesn't mean he's going to be a bad coach. Further, we've heard today, recent news that Dan Quinn is staying in Dallas. Dan Quinn has told interested teams that he's not interested in them, and he will not be in contention for any head coaching jobs. Now, earlier in the week, the reports out of Miami were, well, Miami's first option is Daboll, second option is Quinn, last option is Vance Joseph, fallback. And it was rumored, if you read between the lines, and this is what you always know, that the old phrase, there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the Dolphin, because the mirror on the thing, I can't see myself. The Dolphin sun. This sun right here, there's nothing new under it. The only new thing under the sun is the shape of the dolphin in the logo. It's the same thing with Miami. Grier might like Vance Joseph. Now, I don't know what I think of Vance Joseph. Am I thrilled about Vance Joseph? No. No. Actually, no. But does it make some sense? Is he a defense? Look, and I know people want offense. Offensive-minded coaches got to fix the offense. I'm still more of the type that I think a defensive-minded coach could come in, keep this defensive momentum going, and just somebody who has the connections in the league to hire a legitimate offensive coordinator. Also, maybe see if Tua can hack it and then maybe move to other options at quarterback. But that's me. But I could see why somebody like Grier would like a Vance Joseph. Vance Joseph is well respected in the league. He's been in the building before. He's probably got what it takes to lead a team. But the rumors were that the only way Mr. Magoo would sign off on Vance Joseph was if it was a third option. Why? Because Mr. Magoo is obsessed with an offensive quarterback guru. He's always been. Philbin, Gase, didn't get to hire didn't get to hire Flores. Now he's looking for his guru again. Magoo never changes. Nothing new under the sun. So Magoo's looking for Daboll. And Grier may or may not be cool with that. We don't know. But because Quinn dropped out, and make no mistake, Quinn I don't think dropped out because he loves Dallas. I think Quinn is happy in Dallas. I think the options he was looking at, including Miami, were not thrilling him, and I don't blame him. Working for Mr. Magoo and working for GM and Grier, who could be gone in a year or two, and you're going to have a power struggle between you because he's on his way out and you want to save your job, and who knows about the quarterback. And he probably didn't want to come to Miami, and I don't blame him. And I'm not saying Quinn was going to be great either. But Quinn, again, a guy that interested me, a guy with some fight, a guy with some heart, a guy with some experience, not my top choice. But I would have lived with it, okay? But we don't know what's going on. I still think Daboll has a really good shot at being the next Dolphins head coach, but it's going to come down to Giants, Miami, and we will see what they do. No one knows what's going on behind the scenes. That's all we know. So we'll see what happens. It's a fluid situation. I'm cautiously excited to see who the new head coach is going to be, just because as a Dolphins fan, you want to just know, you want to be able to start analyzing it, you want to start discussing it, you want to, start having conversations about it with other fans and get a little bit excited for the direction of the team, So I'm interested in finding out who it's going to be. But we have no clear path right now. We just have names out there that are circulating. And I do wonder if Daboll winds up going to the Giants. I wonder if we go right away to Vance Joseph and his name starts percolating at the top, or whether we take time to interview more candidates. I hope we're interviewing more. I can't understand why Doug Peterson, Jim Caldwell, Jim Harbaugh I get, because I don't know if he's leaving Michigan. Despite the rumors. I don't know that he's leaving Michigan, despite the rumors. I don't know what he's doing. But that never, despite people just jumping to conclusions, that really never gained any traction, except for an odd report here or there. But I'm surprised they're not looking at Peterson. They're not looking at Bieniemy. They're not looking at Caldwell. I'm surprised because as an objective football observer, it makes no sense. But dealing with Magoo, am I really surprised? No. So we got Magoo and Grier flying around the country doing this coaching search, and we're no closer to knowing what's going on. But that's that. Hey, if you haven't yet, if you're enjoying the video, can you do me a favor? Smash that like button right below me. Smash that subscribe button. We have been gaining in subscribers. It's given us all these new bells and whistles. It's part of the reason we're getting opportunities to go on other channels and do all these other cool things. So if you haven't already, if you've watched the show, if you've enjoyed it so far, smash that subscribe button. But now let's go on to some of the comments from Fury fan members who were just wanting me to discuss things. So, Richard Arroyo, his comment was, whatever coach we hire, I hope he has the effing stones to go after Aaron Rodgers and friends. It all falls on him. We get a captain of this sinking ship. I guess what Richard was talking about was whoever the coach is, he hopes that he actually has the fortitude to go to Magoo and Grier and say, we need to go after some of these big fish quarterbacks that might be available in the offseason. And Rich, I agree with you there. I think if an Aaron Rodgers or another prominent, prolific quarterback becomes available, Miami should certainly explore those options. Now, I don't think that the front office and organization is opposed to exploring those options. Of course, they would look into it. The question is, does one of those guys like a Rodgers or a Wilson or even a Watson now want to come to Miami anymore under the circumstances? And the second issue is that this front office seems to kind of have gone the direction of Tua, cave to the Tua camp, despite what some people think. And while they, of course, will be looking to improve if the opportunity presents itself, it's going to take a lot and a good deal and a good dialogue between them and the potential quarterback to make them do that, because they are prepared to move forward with Tua. And a lot of these guys, I don't know if they'd really want to come to Miami under the circumstances. So we'll see. I am hoping, and you bring up a good point, I am hoping that they'd allow a new head coach to have some input into who's going to play quarterback, because the reports about they have to work with Tua or whatever, again, I said this from the beginning. This was about Tua versus Flo, and they were picking Tua, and the next coach was going to have to be a guru to work with Tua, or at least allow Tua if he's not coaching on the other side of the ball. I still think that's the case. So I believe the reports that they're trying to find candidates who want to work with Tua. And yes, they won't forthright say we didn't hire him because he didn't want Tua. But it's part of the criteria in the interview. You see, that's how people equivocate. That's how they mince words. That's how they trick people, right? Well, we didn't demand that the coach we hired stay with Tua. We gave him the option. But during the interview, they're seeing, well, what do you think of our situation? And people who say, I don't like the quarterback situation, they're going to say, ooh, that guy really wasn't a fit. And the guy who says, I love the quarterback situation, I'm going to make him great, they say he was a fit for our philosophy. You see, they're never going to say it directly. But I'm a believer they're trying to stick with Tua. So I don't think a new head coach is going to jump off the wall for a new quarterback, but I hope they give him at least the option of bringing in some guy who has a backup that maybe competes, or, but look, if a Rodgers or a Wilson shows interest in Miami, even Magoo's going to pay attention and see if they could bring him in. That's a no-brainer. I just don't know that it happens. M. Black said, I'd like to make a case against Chris Grier, his tenure as a college scouting director in 2007 till today. All the bad draft picks, I need everything in writing or vlogging as a juror. So he wants to make a case. I don't have time to write a whole opening argument, closing argument, direct examination, redirect, cross-examination, and make a ruling as an official jurist. The problem with the Chris Grier conversation, and I've been conflicted myself with the Chris Grier conversation. I've been conflicted myself with it. There have been times where I look at Chris Grier and I say, I want to keep him, I want him to stay, because some picks he appears to have made have panned out really well. Then there have been picks that he's made, like the 2020 draft class, or first round, where I'm like, this guy sucks. He has no clue what he's doing. The problem with all of it is we just don't have, in a case, you'd have discovery rules, and you'd be able to get documents and witnesses and papers so you could investigate before trial or before making any arguments, or even sometimes before really presenting motions in a case. You'd be able to figure out who made what decision when, who overruled whose decision, who wanted who, and we just don't have that information. I don't know if somebody on Grier's staff made the wrong picks or somebody on Grier's staff is a star and made all the right picks and Grier just went along with it, or if Grier overrode people and picked the better people, or if Magoo stepped in and made him pick some, less than stellar players, or if Gase or Philbin or any of these guys or Flores, we don't know. We don't know who was making the executive decision, so it's tough to judge Grier. But one thing I will say about Grier is that the way the Flores situation went down, where Grier was putting together a deal for Deshaun Watson, and Flo wanted Watson, and they were both all in on it. And I'm not saying that Magoo was completely, tuned off and didn't know anything about it, but I am saying that I could see a situation where Magoo just said, put together whatever you're doing, do whatever you think, and at the last minute, I'll decide whether your idea is good or not. I completely see that, especially because he spends most of his time over here in New York and not in Miami. I could see that, and I think it's really crappy of Grier as a person and manager, to be honest with you, and a colleague, that he put together a deal for Watson, and when Magoo came in at the last minute and said, "Oh, I don't like," unless he said, "No, I don't like this," right from that moment, in my theory, which I'm still going with, Grier turned on Flo and decided, well, I'm going to save my own ass by going all in on Tua because that's what Magoo wants to hear, and I'm going to plot to get rid of Flores to buy myself some more time, regardless of Grier's draft picks. I think that's a serious question as to his character, and I don't have all the inside information, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I take it back. But if I'm right, and there's this power struggle, and he's always buddy-buddy with Magoo, and he's playing games with coaches, and he's part of the dysfunction in the organization, then the case against Grier is that if he's not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And right now it looks like no matter how good he is at scouting, he's part of the problem organizationally and managerially, and that's a big issue with the Dolphins. So that's my case against him in short summary. And Triple S Podcast says, the video topic should be Grier holding us back from success and getting a good head coach with his desire not to be proven wrong on Tua. That kind of goes back to what I just talked about. I don't even know if he really believes that he doesn't want to be proven wrong with Tua. I think he just adopted that position, like I just said now, because their plan with Watson didn't work, so now he's got to go all in to stick with his job for however long he can. Maybe he doesn't want to be proven wrong about Tua. That's probably part of it to an extent, but there's also other pressures in the organization, and he's decided that he's going to roll out with Magoo instead of going down with the ship and his guy that he hired in Flores. And I think it's, again, we don't know whether he really believes in Tua or not. All we know is that he's trying to stick around and keep his job, and that's suspect. I know it's not suspect because people are going to say, well, of course you want to keep his job. Yes, but as a character thing, as a man-to-man thing, he's suspect, okay? Clemente 3472, possibly acquiring Sean Payton and how that can impact Tua and our offense. If we were to acquire Sean Payton, and this is one of the things Big O goes on and on and on about, in perpetuity, if we got Sean Payton, would make Tua a star. Put him on the Saints, Sean Payton. Because he looks at, which a lot of people do, Drew Brees, and they're like, he's a carbon copy of Drew Brees. Whatever. I don't know that he's a carbon copy of Drew Brees or not. If we were to get Sean Payton, I think you could see considerable, tangible improvement with Tua Tagovailoa. I think a coach like Sean Payton is a true, not only offensive guru, but a proven head coach. And that's one of the guys where even if they were going to get Payton just for the reason of being a quarterback guru, I would actually agree with that reasoning with somebody like Sean Payton. Don't agree with it with Daboll, but agree with it with somebody like Sean Payton. Sean Payton would improve too. Now, would it be a Super Bowl caliber improvement? I don't know. I don't know how much he could improve him. I don't know how much better Tua could get with a specific coach who knows how to work with that type of quarterback. I really don't know if he's Drew Brees level or has the potential to be. We may never know because he may never get a situation like Brees had in New Orleans. And even if he did, maybe he wouldn't be as good. I don't know. What I would say is Sean Payton, I think, would be an incredible hire for the Miami Dolphins, and it would greatly improve Tua. And I think it would give me more optimism in our present quarterback situation. If we had a coach like Payton at the helm, I would have more confidence that maybe Tua could get us to the promised land. Even though in an abstract sense, Tua wouldn't be my preference as a quarterback observer. He wouldn't be my preference. I would still think he might be able to get it done if you have a guy like Payton. That being said, I don't expect Payton to come to Miami. I don't think Payton's leaving New Orleans because he's still thirsty and still hungry for a job, and he wants to make a quick one-year move to a quasi-rebuilding project with a lot of organizational turmoil like the Miami Dolphins have. I don't think he's doing that. I think the reason he's stepping away is because he's tired and exhausted and burned out, and he wants to take some time off. Now, whether that's retirement for forever or whether that's a couple years, we'll see. A lot of these guys leave with the intention of taking a couple years and then finding the best organizational situation and fit and coming back to a program where they're set up to kind of cement their legacy and win again. I could see a Payton do what Gruden did. Now he's gone, but what Gruden initially did, leave, do a little broadcasting, hang out, wait for a great situation that you really want to be in. Or if that situation never arises, like with Cowher, maybe you just stay in broadcasting because it's a good gig. But I can tell you, I definitely don't think he's going to come to the Miami Dolphins this year. I don't think that's a plausible thing, unfortunately. Now, wheelchair man John. John, what's up, bro? It's great to hear from you, as always, John. He wants to talk about head coaching candidates, and he thinks Aaron Rodgers should come play for the Dolphins. Is that wishful thinking, John? I think it is wishful thinking, but I did just address the Aaron Rodgers situation. We would be interested if he was interested. I could see him being interested because we have a really good defense, and it's South Florida, no state income tax, great weather, traditional organization that needs a lift. I just think there's better situations for Rodgers, and I don't think he's looking to come to Florida. But whereas Sean Payton, I think is never going to happen. I'm not that confident with Rodgers that it's never going to happen. You don't know. He doesn't like the vax stuff. Florida's very lax with all that. He might want to go to Florida. I mean, Florida's in a bad place for Aaron. If he gets assurances that they bolster up the O-line, I don't know. Right now, we have no indication he's necessarily definitively even leaving Green Bay. But if that's the case, I'm 90% sure Aaron's not coming here. But with Payton, I'm like 99.5% sure he's not coming here. So there's some window of opportunity. It would be nice, wouldn't it? God Soldier, what's up, bro? He says, the Jets want to trade out of the 10th pick. I know some fans want Kenny Pickett, but is there anyone you would trade up to the 10th spot to get? The answer is no. Because Kenny Pickett, forget it. Like, you're going from somebody in Tua who you thought was proven but wasn't. I'm not saying Kenny Pickett's not going to be an awesome quarterback. I'm not saying he didn't put Pitt on his back and take them to greater heights than they had in the past. I'm not saying Kenny Pickett's not a talented guy. I'm saying Kenny Pickett's not a sure thing. And no quarterback and no pick ever is a sure thing. But you got to have a guy who's at least closer to the sure thing. Pickett, to me, he could be great, but he's the kind of guy to me that he's not a sure thing. So he's not the kind of guy that you're going to draft and then ship Tua out because you're so confident in him. He's the guy you're going to bring in, and Tua's going to be here. And then what? Now you have this tug of war. Neither guy's agent's happy. Neither guy's happy. Situation's a mess. Fans, half the fans want Pickett, half the fans want Tua. And if you sit Tua and Pickett comes in, there's no guarantee he runs away with the job. So I don't think Pickett is a thing. And I'm not saying God Soldier said that. He didn't. He's saying some fans are talking about Pickett. I don't think this is the year you go after a quarterback. I think they should have kept Flores and gone with Tua one more year or tried for another quarterback. And then if Tua fizzled out, maybe keep Flores or reassess Grier and Flores together and decide if you were going to let those two pick the next quarterback or if you were going to dismantle the whole thing and start over. But Magoo didn't do that. He did it in the middle of the process. Now if Tua fails next year or 2 years from now, Grier might be out, but the head coach will stay. It's a mess now. It's a mess now. An absolute mess. But I don't think now, if you can't get a proven quarterback, a proven guy right now, then you got to roll with Tua another year or two until there's a better draft class and you're better situated in the draft class. And I don't think we're situated that well. And the reason I say I wouldn't trade up for anybody is our needs, our offensive line, our wide receiver, kinda. And the 10th spot, you could get a premier guy, but you're not getting a top 5 premier guy. So you're probably not getting the top guy at his position, especially because quarterback pickings are slim this year. So it's not like 3 quarterbacks are necessarily going to go in the top 9, so that other positions, the top guy, like at the top lineman, the top receiver, whoever, the top running back is left by 10 because everybody's getting a quarterback. We're really not in a situation like that this year. So a lot of those guys will be gone by the 10th pick. And so we'd be giving up assets, draft assets, player assets, whatever we're giving up to move into the 10th spot to get a pretty good guy, where if we held tight or we just traded up a few spots or just really held tight, we could probably get serviceable guys. We have so much cap space that we should be using the cap space to fill our deepest holes like O-line, and whoever we draft should be a solid starter caliber type player, but we don't need to draft up to give away assets to get anybody, because the truth is, once this year goes by or next year, if Tua's not the guy, or if we have a couple more holes or etc., we're going to need our assets to trade up later or to continue to build or continue to stay solid. So I don't see this year as a good year to trade up, and if we're going to trade up, I sure as heck don't think that the 10th spot is where we want to trade up to. So I would think there's nobody in particular that I would do that for. I think a lot of our needs are going to be through free agency and then the draft, but the draft we can find like a solid role player. If we're looking for like a awesome tackle or a superstar running back or a superstar corner, I think we'd probably have to trade up a little higher. So the 10th spot with the Jets, I don't think that would be something we would go for. But hey, you never know, and it wouldn't be a terrible idea. So thanks for the question. Angel Carrillo, what are some realistic moves Dolphins can make to right the ship? Well, I think the most realistic and plausible move at this juncture, Angel, is hiring the right head coach. And like I said before, I don't think the right reasons are there for them going after Daboll, but that doesn't mean Daboll's not going to be a good coach. I saw that he might bring in Martindale from Baltimore, who was the D coordinator, and he has connections like that. So just because I think they might be going for the wrong reasons doesn't mean that they're not going to make the right choice. They can make the right choice for the wrong reasons, right? I mean, Daboll could be a good coach because he could bring in a great supporting cast. He could be waiting for this opportunity for a long time and have a great plan. They could bring in a coach who galvanizes the players and earns the respect of, Magoo and the players to an extent where if Tua doesn't pan out, he gets extra time to bring in the guy he wants to bring in and we compete. Or we could get a guy who really does build enough around Tua and develops Tua's skills enough that Tua becomes good enough to get us over the top. I don't know if it's realistic or if I'm necessarily optimistic that we will be able to get a guy like that. Or that we will make the right hire at head coach. But I think a realistic move is to hire a head coach that's going to do the right thing. Now, beyond that, to a more sure thing angle to that question, I think the best number one thing that Miami can do right now to right the ship is retain their own guys, Agba, Gesicki, and go out and get good starting caliber, solid offensive linemen with all the cap space they have. They don't have to gamble on a draft pick. They don't have to do any of that. Go out and sign solidified, free agent offensive linemen that a stacked team that's managed itself properly can't afford to overpay, but that we have the money to overpay for a good, solid, multi-year, dependable starter at O-line. Get 2 of those guys in free agency. The number one thing the Miami Dolphins have complete control over and have a good situation to do and to accomplish is to go out and sign free agent offensive linemen. So to answer your question overall, yeah, you got to get a good head coach, but go out and sign good offensive linemen. That's what they can do to right the ship. That's the biggest step they can get in terms of righting the ship realistically. I am Aqua Beast. He just doesn't want to hear about Watson or Tua or Magoo anymore. He's sick of hearing about that. So he's just sick of that, and that's his comment. And he's saying we don't need another QB. So I guess I'm an Aqua Beast might be a Tua near. I don't know. And he's just mad about Watson, Tua, this and that. I don't know. But guys, hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you enjoyed the content. I hope all of you watching today, will smash that subscribe button. Now that you've watched this long, why not just smash it? I mean, obviously, you're interested in the content, right? Smash the like button. And I hope you'll all join me next week, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Oh, because we have global viewers on here. I forget sometimes. 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So 8 p.m. Florida time. 8 p.m. New York time. 8 p.m. East Coast time, United States. Next Wednesday, I will have my first live show, the first Phin-Addict Fury with Larry K live on TD's Finn's Talks channel. I hope you'll join me there. Again, thank TD for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you'll all join me there. I hope you'll all continue to engage with me on this channel. I hope you'll continue to subscribe to this channel, keep this channel growing. This channel is about you and about the dialogue you want to hear. It's about objective conversation about the Miami Dolphins, and I am more than thrilled to consistently and continuously provide that content and to engage with you guys. You guys are the ones who are building this channel, and it's an awesome, awesome thing. So thanks again for joining me today. Hopefully I got to answer a lot of the questions you guys had posed and got to discuss a lot of the things you guys wanted to hear. And hopefully we get to the end of this coaching search and we have some interesting news to report on very soon. Until then, Larry K signing off, and I'll see you next week live on TD Finn's Talk Radio.
I know you heard me on the radio flexing. She loved the sound of my voice.